All right, hello and welcome back to another 5K tennis discussion. Today is Monday, Veterans Day here in the United States. Monday, November the 11th, 2019. And I wanted to spend a little while this morning to do just a quick, kind of belated, a little bit late tennis show. And I do hope to have Carla back this afternoon to do our normal show, if not tomorrow. She's been, again, super busy with all the 5 kids while I've been injured and teaching all our tennis lessons. So I know I miss her, and I'm sure you guys miss her too. I know I do a lot, but she should be back this afternoon, if not, no later than tomorrow. So real quickly, I wanted to kind of catch up on some tennis news that I thought was good and just didn't have time to do this show dealing with this knee injury. So this is my kind of living room setup. So there, of course, is my walker. There's the knee. Yeah, so we're still here. And here's the broken arm, or fractured wrist, rather. So we're doing okay. All right. Let me get this camera back set. All right, so real quickly, I wanted to start with the Fed Cup. So congratulations to France. Alas, sorry for Australia for not winning, and the drought continues. I think it's 42 years now where the women in Australia have not won the Fed Cup. Barty during the Fed Cup looked impressive. Her tactics, by the way, are some of the best in the game. For me, her tactics are the best on the women's tour entirely. And pound for pound across the men's and women's game, besides Novak Djokovic at this point, throw in maybe some Nadal, a young Federer, but Barty has some on-court tactics that are very natural. Sometimes us as coaches have a tough time getting a player to mix it up, to add variety, to use the slice sometimes, to pick your spots and stay patient. And Barty does that incredibly. And she's a strong girl, too. So to be such a strong girl and then to use some soft hands and touch and then to use power when she needs it, and some of her point setups are just quite amazing to see. So good job for Barty and her performance. I think we'll see a lot from her in 2020 at majors, especially. I did watch the French girl Mladenovic play Tomljanovic, or I forget how to pronounce that. I know a lot of people say that J is silent. Tomljanovic, the Australian girl. Mladenovic beat her 6-1, 6-1. I noticed something. Has anybody ever seen the movie The Truman Show? It was like with Jim Carrey, and there was an actress in it that he would try to find, and he would create pictures to try to remember what she looked like out of like newspaper articles and stuff. Mladenovic looks just like her, and that actress's name is Natasha McElhone, or McElhoney. I saw that, and I was like, geez, why does she look so familiar? I've seen Mladenovic a million times, and it just kind of hit me. She looks just like that girl. Anyway, irrelevant for the tennis news, but Mladenovic beat Tomljanovic 6-1, 6-1, and I think Tomljanovic was the young lady that started working out with Sasha Bajin, and I think Bajin left her camp entirely. I think so. So tough role for her to lose 1-1. Anyway, as the Fed Cup moved forward, it was a 2-2 tie, and alas, Australia lost the tiebreaker in doubles to the French. But good Fed Cup. I really enjoyed the Fed Cup. I've been to the Fed Cup multiple times growing up. I've been to a couple in Birmingham, Alabama, and elsewhere. So the Fed Cup's a really good time. Hopefully Australia, though, will have a better run at it next year. But all in all, great Fed Cup. Liked it a lot. So I did enjoy moving forward the next gen finals this year. I never really watch it because it's just the first of 4 games. They play no ad scoring, so it's tough for me to really buy into something where it's kind of an abbreviated game. But the reason why I liked it a lot is I got a chance to really take a look at Yannick Sinner. So for 18, for this young man and we saw some from him just earlier in the year, by the way. But at 18, for him to have the tactics that he has, the patience that he has, the overall game that he has, I would say, and I think I said this in another video, to watch out for him. Do I think he'll make a deep run in a major this year? Probably not. Maybe a fourth round, I think he could probably do so. And maybe better, but I think he needs a little bit more time. But based upon what I saw, he looks like he's very able to hang with the bigger guns on the men's tour. Maybe not this year, but I think we'll see a lot from Skinner. Or did I say Sinner? I have Skinner written here. I'm a psychology graduate, and I always think about B.F. Skinner, who was let's just say a historical person in the psychology, I guess, realm per se, and I forget what his thing was, some type of conditioning, but he looked really good. And he beat De Minaur in the final. I didn't get to watch the final. I really thought De Minaur would win that just because of experience, but Sinner won it and deservedly so. So good job for Sinner. Again, I'm still not 100% bought into the next gen final because I can't tell you how many times I've been down 4-0 and came back and won a set. I can't tell you how many times I've played in a no ad scoring type match and say I'm down love 40, I get back to deuce, even Steven, and all of a sudden I lose 1 point and then the game's over. So I didn't even get a chance to kind of fight back. So think about that. You're playing in this grinded out match. You're down triple match point. You get it back to deuce. You got a fighting chance. You got 1 point you can kind of squander in case to go add in or add out, and then all of a sudden it's over because you shank a return or something. So that's just a tough thing for me to buy into, is the no ad scoring. Don't care for it at all. My two oldest boys, we have 5 children, but the 2 oldest, which are boys, both played number 1 and number 2 respectively on their high school tennis team, and they play no ad scoring. So, geez, when I see that kind of situation unfold, there's a battle going on, and here comes deuce. It's hard to swallow that the next point, no matter what, decides someone's fate. So I don't particularly care for that. But again, the next gen final is an exhibition, and they're trying to get people on and off the courts, just like where we play our high school team matches. It's a facility, and people come in and play, and the schools or come in and pay and play, and the schools don't. It's just kind of part of being a big public facility. So, money talks, so they in essence, kind of rush the kids off the court so they can get the fees of those that are just coming in to play recreationally. So it's a crap sandwich, but we have to eat it, unfortunately. All right, real quickly, moving forward to the ATP finals. The Djokovic-Berrettini match I watched. Wasn't close. Is it a shocker? No. Do I expect bigger things from Berrettini moving forward? Yes, I do. He did have a pretty good year, or at least late season in 2019. So I think we'll see more from him. But we'll see how the early part of his season goes in 2020. I think Djokovic was very, very solid, and we'll see what unfolds moving forward. I think his next up will be, and I forget who is next up. My phone's here. I couldn't check it because it's recording. The Federer-TM match. Watched that, and I had a good discussion, or not a good discussion, but I got to watch Cam Williams do his kind of live feed. Really enjoyed that. He does a really good job, and I was lucky enough to watch that with this knee injury. Usually I'm out on the court with the kids or teaching lessons or whatever. So appreciate the shout out there, Cam. You did a great job as always. For me, Federer again is just he's a step or two late these days, and that's to be expected. Am I buying excuses for Federer, saying that maybe he didn't try his hardest? I don't think so. TM played very well, and I think Federer played about 95% of what we've seen from Federer for the last, year, I guess. I mean, sure, he had a major. He won in Australia, but again, I don't think that Federer will win another major. I just don't. I don't think there's enough fuel left in the major tank, meaning 7 matches, a couple of them maybe going 5 sets. I think it's time for Federer to not be kind of the favorite to win every major that he enters, and I thought that for a couple of years. And when he won his last one, I was delighted in a sense, but it's no shock for me that TM beat Roger yesterday, and I think he will continue to beat Roger moving forward. So great win for TM, not a shock loss for Roger, and either way, I think Cam was talking about yesterday that Federer wants his revenge on Djokovic. Absolutely couldn't agree more. I don't think that even if he met Djokovic in the final here, which I think will be tough now for sure, I don't even know if Federer will beat Berrettini, honestly, or if Federer even really cares too much about the battle in the first place with Australia coming up. I have to slightly disagree with the sense that Federer could even get retribution for the epic loss to Djokovic at Wimbledon here. I think in order for Federer to ever get revenge off of that heartbreaking loss at Wimbledon on match point would be to get it at a major. So even if Federer won this and beat Djokovic in a final, I still wouldn't qualify that as being retribution for the Wimbledon loss. I think to get retribution, Federer needs to do it at a major. Otherwise, I think Federer will just have to swallow that Djokovic beat him the last time at a major. In order to gain that back, he's going to have to do it at a major. So anyway, today, Daniil Medvedev will take on Stefanos Tsitsipas. That'll be a great match. So I'm kind of sitting here parked and ready to do it. So I've got kind of my screen up there. So I think right now we've got doubles, and I just flipped this on a little while ago. So I'm ready for that. And that should be a good match. I think it should be, for me, the best match to date that's been played at the finals. Why? Because these two, Daniil Medvedev and Tsitsipas, hypothetically, could be the future number 1 and 2 or 2 and 3 in the world. So I think that will be a good battle. They're young enough to put in that much energy at the end of the year. I don't think they have to worry about saving their bodies because their bodies are so fresh at this point. So I think that one will be a lights out match, and I look forward to it. If I won, I'm going to take Medvedev. Yeah, so again, if I had my camera just indicated it was starting another segment, so I'll repeat what I was going to say. I think Medvedev will beat Tsitsipas. Again, I still think Stefanos is a little spastic on the court. I think sometimes his patience runs thin, and he goes for too much too soon. And sometimes when he gets kind of negative on court, sometimes that spastic turns into a lot of unforced errors. Dropping balls in the net, whacking balls long, missing them by 6 feet wide. Medvedev kind of has a way, I think, to remain more patient, to remain more steady. And maybe you'll disagree with me there, but if I was Tsitsipas's coach, I would try to work sports psychology with him because, again, he gets a little spastic out there. And if your coach is out there, you can kind of follow what I mean by spastic. Those that are not, again, kind of just all over the place, and not in an extreme way, but there's just certain points where he's putting in a whole lot of energy where he could conserve more for later in the matches. But hey, I'm definitely not his coach, but if it were up to me, I would have him kind of steady Eddie, stick with the process, don't get wrapped up with any negative energy, and just kind of ride the vibe and just stay true to yourself and try to get some of these spastic type, moments kind of out of the game. Nadal's Zverev, which comes up after that will probably be a landslide. But again, here we are at the end of the year. Nadal's never won this tournament. He may even pull out. He's dealing with, I think, an abductor stress in his abdominal area. We know he has a lot of injuries that he deals with day to day. So I don't know how much energy Nadal is going to want to put into this match. By the way, each grouping in the ATP finals has a name: Group Borg and Group Agassi. I wonder why they name those groups that, or why they even name them. Why wouldn't it be just Group A and then Group B? Surely there's some type of, Hall of Fame connotation there, or, maybe one coaches one group and one coaches the other group, or maybe it's just a name. But I didn't quite grasp why they picked Borg and Agassi in there. Why not Team Laver and Team Tilden, or Team Don Budge and Team Lacoste or something? I didn't get why it was Borg and Agassi. And plus, both of them, correct me if I'm wrong, both of those guys hit two-handed backhands. I think Borg kind of hit with two and then released it upon contact, kind of released it with the one. And Agassi, of course, has the two-hander. If you know me in the show, I'm not a fan of the two-handed backhand for anybody. I have 5 kids, all of them, even my 4-year-old hits with a one-handed backhand. So, and the girls. So my 17-year-old one-hander, 15-year-old one-hander, 10-year-old one-hander, 7-year-old one-hander, 4-year-old learning the one-hander, with regular balls too. We don't do all that cheesy 10 and under tennis stuff. We all started with regular balls, and that's what we're going to continue to hit with regular balls. Who needs that stuff? You know, my 10-year-old daughter, by the way, she plays tournaments. We stopped putting in her in some of these USTA tournaments because her age, they won't let her play with anything except a ball that has like a green dot on it, so it's kind of halfway pressured, you know what I mean? So, and the court is kind of drawn smaller, so she kind of, to me, takes a step back, and when she plays these tournaments, she just thumps everybody, you know, win, 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 and they only play like the 4 or 6 games or something, so boom, boom, she's like thumping people, and she has to sit with these green balls. So we don't really put the 10-year-old in these tournaments because she started the game very young with a regular yellow ball, like a regular tennis ball. Anyway, so I won't get into that narrative, but I don't particularly care for learning the 10 and under curriculum. I guess, you know, if you're somebody that's just picking it up and you only play the game, you know, once a month or something, okay, you don't want to never play again, so they give you this big pressureless ball to hit, you know, kind of easily back and forth. But in my opinion, it's no good if you're trying to raise an athlete or a great player and you have the ability to take care of them every day. My 4-year-old carries on shots from the baseline, at least on his forehand side, with a regular tennis ball. It's a little tough for him with the one-hander to pull that all the way across the court with a regular ball, but he'll get there. He'll get there for sure. Anyway, who do you think wins today? Medvedev or Tsitsipas or Nadal Zverev? Again, I'm going to take Medvedev. Obviously, I'm going to take Nadal, but I wouldn't be shocked if Zverev just beats him, so Nadal is just, you know, can just pull out. Or and again, I'm not hating on Nadal, but he's really, really good at pulling out of tournaments at the end of the year. So it wouldn't shock me if he did that again here. So Davis Cup upcoming. I can't actually wait for it. I think the tournament begins, I think, somewhere around November 17th. It's kind of the final format. I haven't heard much about it, though. My last name's Davis. It has nothing to do with the tournament itself. But when I grew up in Southern California, we would frequent Davis Cup matches. My father would take us. A lot of those matches I was too young to remember. But nonetheless, we would go. So I look forward to it, but oddly enough, this time of the year, generally we are hearing about it, at least advertisements, tennis magazine, or whatever it is, and I haven't seen much about it, but I do look forward to it. If I had to kind of guess who I think would win, I think I would go with Spain at this point, simply because of depth on their roster. I guess you could probably throw maybe France in there because they have depth. Again, the Davis Cup is a team, so the more depth you have, the better chance you have to win. And not just because, you know, Nadal is playing or if Federer is playing. You know, I wouldn't doubt Switzerland would do well at all, or if they're even in the finals, I'm not sure, because they would just have Federer. More than likely, he's not going to play to save his body. Wawrinka the same way, so who do you got? I know that Switzerland pulled out of the ATP Cup at the end of the year, the inaugural one, because Federer pulled out or something, and then therefore there wasn't anybody to even play hardly. So that kind of sucks for Switzerland. However, I do think Federer pulled out of that, not because he was saving his body, but I think his Laver Cup, being a money grab, conflicted with the Davis Cup when they changed the format. Because of that, in my opinion, the ATP Cup, this inaugural thing that no one's seen yet, came out. And then you have the ATP World Tour Finals at the end of the year. So think about that. Post-US Open, you have the ATP Cup, this inaugural thing. You have the Laver Cup. You have the Davis Cup. And you have the ATP Finals. I might have repeated something there. Davis Cup, Laver Cup, ATP Cup, and the end of the year final. So that's 4 things when your body should be resting. And in my opinion, unless the Davis Cup, it's all a money grab. So I'm thinking, you know, Federer and all his decisions simply have to do with him wanting the most eyes on his Laver Cup moving forward. But that's just my opinion. I won't get into that again. I've talked about the money grab tennis matches at the end of the year for a long time. Hence why I don't buy into a lot of them. Out of all 4 to this point, though, right now, again, I haven't seen the inaugural ATP Cup, but I thought the Next Gen Final did pretty well. Even though I don't care for the format, I did get a chance to see Sinner, and I think that was worth watching it right there. He should be a good player. that's it for right now. I plan to do a show later on this afternoon. Again, I want to reiterate Ashley Barty's tactics. Watch her if you haven't watched her, if you've just seen a few matches. Watch her footwork. Watch her game. Watch her ability to how to mix up her shots. Watch her ability to change it up. Watch her ability to look her opponent off. It's like she's fixing to set up for some, ripped ball. Her opponent's staying honest, and then she'll just throw in the easy slice or the dropper. Or her opponent will be ready to attack a short ball, and then here comes Barty. She'll step around it, pick a spot, and not put too much power on it, but get it where she needs to get it and deliver the goods. So right now I'm giving Barty an A+ across the men's and women's game to being hypothetically one of the best tacticians on the planet right now. So that's it, everyone. Much love. Please subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you guys later with Carla. In the meantime, vamos. Let's go. Come on. Let's go. Sitting here with my knee feeling better, pumped up. Let's get down. Yes. Go. Come on. Rah. Too bad I can't get on the tennis court right now. Let's get down. Come on. Peace out, y'all. See you later. Take care.